I just received some major insights last week about the hidden places where I was leaking creative energy in my life and the exact steps that I took to remedy that. I gotta tell you, I already feel so much more at peace, more alive, and more inspired, and I just knew I needed to share this wisdom with you all. These insights felt so major for me because it goes beyond just tips to spark your creativity. We're talking about the hidden energetics of creative interference. And once you hear the examples and see the diagram I'm about to share with you, a lot of stuff is going to make sense and you will not be able to unsee this. So sorry, not sorry in advance. Our creative energy gets leaked out into places where other people and things get to benefit from it, and we are at the losing end. This might seem kind of obvious, but you need to protect it because this energy is supposed to go towards what you are building, what you are here to do, not what somebody else is here to do. That can come later, but your priority is to just guard and protect your creative energy so that it can be channeled in order for your creations to come into form. And not only for them to be birthed, but for them to follow the natural order of spiritual growth and development, which is after something is born, it needs to be properly nurtured and maintained until it develops spiritual maturation. And that is what becomes sustainable over time. I'm specifically talking about if you're creative and you want to make it a sustainable way of living for you. What we're about to dive into in this section is going to help you really see and examine everything that you're involved in right now. Is it aligned with your creative goals? So now we come to what does it take to actually focus your creative energy on your goals, especially if you have tried several times already to build something significant for yourself and your life and feel like you maybe only got part of the way there. You can really learn something from these past attempts. Like what I learned when I reflected on these last couple of years as a whole was that I could see myself constantly getting distracted. And it's like as soon as I built something that was working, instead of focusing on building that up and allowing that to take up space and really nurturing it all the way up until its spiritual maturation, I would almost immediately skirt off to build something else, thinking that, oh, I need a bigger offer suite or I need this kind of system to support it. And I was literally so scattered. And what else would happen is that as soon as things were starting to work, generating momentum, I was seeing really good movement, I would then get opportunities that on the surface seemed aligned with what I was building, but energetically at their core ended up being antagonistic rather than synergistic. And as this idea came to me, I remembered something that I had learned in school a long time ago. And it's the way that, waves come together and what they create as a result. The one that we're talking about right now, the antagonistic one, is a known phenomenon in physics called destructive interference, where waves align in opposite phases and cancel each other out. When I realized this, I was like, oh my gosh. This is basically the same thing that happens when you align yourself with some person, opportunity, or other type of distraction that feels like you're pouring in, but it only ends up canceling out your effort in the end. But here's the thing. When I really started to think about this, I was like, it's not necessarily that your energy is just being canceled out. Where is it going? It's going somewhere. I believe that when I say yes to people and opportunities where this kind of interference is happening under the surface, the other party actually ends up using my energy for their own benefit. They take it. I'm not just talking about business. This plays out in relationships too, because, sometimes money and love are very strong reflectors of each other. You can see this play out if you've ever dated someone for an extended period of time and noticed that your business, your finances, your energy, happiness level, health, or anything really that requires your energy to maintain goes downhill as a result over time. The same goes for when another opportunity or even your own ideas for something brand new will come along and try to pull you away. before your initial creation is ready to stand on its own. This can happen when you feel an urgency or pressure to always do more, create more, be more. The result of this interference is you birthed something that was working, that was beautiful in and of itself. It had so much value, but that you couldn't nurture it into a place of sustainability because you got pulled away, or you couldn't finish creating it at all. If you're just like, oh gosh, this is what's going on, this explains it. Well, let's talk about the solution then, right? Constructive interference is what we want to create more of, where two energies, people or opportunities come together to create an even larger wave, a synergistic wave. So how do we do that? Well, I'll tell you that what I've started to do in just this short time that's already made a massive difference to my energy is that first, I looked back on my previous experiences with creating, whether it was through my business, through any aspect of your dream life, but especially if you're trying to create as a soul calling, looking back at those past experiences and notice, where are you getting distracted? And notice the pattern of being pulled off in a different direction. I swear, awareness really does start to make a huge difference on its own. And the second part to the solution is to set some much needed boundaries. You need the awareness first to know where your energy is leaking. And as a healer, you already have tools to, set those boundaries. So going back to the destructive interference situation, the only way that the incoming wave can hijack or siphon your energy is because you're used to allowing that to happen, whether you realize it or not. Again, healers are susceptible to this, especially. We give our energy to help build others up, literally, often while it depletes us in the process if we don't have proper boundaries. Think of another opportunity or person coming towards you as their invitation to you to energetically co-create something with them, because it is. And be very careful of whether this collaboration really supports you and your goals. For me, I had to learn this the hard way, especially in relationships. For me, now, I've realized that the red flag to signal a potentially very energetically destructive relationship is that the man is going through a major transition or transformation in his own life. There have been several men in a row for me who, unbeknownst to me at the time, needed my nurturing feminine energy to help build them up, to help build their life. They needed my support to do that, to help bolster them on their journey. Meanwhile, I, on the other hand, was at the same time busy building my own business, building my own life, and they were completely unable to give back to me in the same way. So now I'm carrying two people. All of these situations ended, like the timing of it ended right as soon as I was about to birth something new through my business. So something had to give, and that's how I know that our energies were colliding and ultimately showed that our life paths were diverging in that moment, not coming together synergistically and creating an even bigger wave, but they were canceling each other out, and the relationship got canceled out when I was trying to build something. And for me moving forward, this gives me a lot of insight on what I'm creating in my relationship life as well. I'm now so clear that I am attracting a partner who can support my growth, who can grow alongside me and not only not take away and cancel out what I'm trying to do for myself, but that our combined efforts will be even bigger than the sum of us two individually. So now that you're aware and have spent some time hopefully reviewing your past experiences, you are going to start receiving ample opportunities to practice protecting your creative energy. When I first received these massive downloads just a week ago, the few days after that, literally so many distractions came flying into my field for me to really embody what I just learned. The day after this awareness came, and I had just recommitted to fully focusing my energy on my creative goals, I had 3 different people reach out to try to draw me into co-creation with them on their projects, on their life, on their stuff. One was a guy who wanted me to make music with him. Another was a past mentor who invited me to join a sailing retreat this summer. The third was my ex-partner with an emergency. On the surface, all seems innocent, right? And even with my ex having an emergency, it almost seemed necessary for me to help. But ask yourself this question in these moments when these things are coming in at you. What do I need to be focusing on right now? When I ask this question to myself with the music, I haven't even been able to put in the time, the energy, the effort to make my own music to the level that I want it to be, let alone someone else's. So that was an easy no. The sailing retreat, well, I watched the info webinar, was feeling initially really excited about it. And 10 minutes in, I did feel a subtle clash of just values and beliefs in what they were teaching there, and realized that I'd rather spend 2 weeks learning something that is fully aligned with my current soul curriculum than having to pay thousands of dollars and just efforting to adapt the teachings to my belief system just because, sailing in Croatia seems pretty cool, but not what I need to be focusing on right now. And then with my ex, funny story, because I was already in the frequency focused on my own goals and just had turned the blinders on, I forgot to bring my headphones on a walk with me, causing me to leave my phone in the car and miss his phone call. And by the time I got back, the emergency was over and he was just insisting on catching up, to which I said no. And these are just a few examples of what's been happening this week for me. And I'm sure more and more will take place as we all continue to hone and protect our creative energy even further so that we can put it towards what we are trying to build. I feel as though God shared this insight with me at the perfect time because I am just turning a significant corner in my creative process, but also because He knew I would share it with you now. So if this insight was as mind-blowing for you as it was for me when I first received it, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. I love diving into stuff like this and just integrating, processing, and getting to clarity that is shareable. So seriously, if you have any questions, it really helps me as well on my journey, and it helps everyone else watching. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe as well because we have a lot more to talk about together. I'll see you next time.